Hello, my name is Kevin Alberts and today is April 23rd, year 2021. I've come to talk about coral reef mortality and the solution to the problem. First, I want to introduce a quote from the report, Time is Running Out for Coral Reefs, new report. In this report written by the United Nations Environment Program, they state, and I quote, every one of the world's reefs will bleach by the end of the century, with annual severe bleaching occurring on average by the year 2034, end of quote. Now, bleaching is an event in which the corals, they lose all the algae that lives on them. Now, what this happens is it exposes them to any kind of harmful events such as diseases or climate change, and they become very vulnerable. And they also turn really white and they lose all the colors that they usually have. Now, I'm going to show you a picture that shows the difference between a healthy coral and a bleached coral.
Now here on the left we see a healthy reef. It's colorful, diverse, it's filled with life. But on the right we see white corals. That's because they're bleached. And now they're bleached, their algae has left them and they're more vulnerable to harmful events such as climate change and diseases. Now they're not dead yet, but they are at risk of dying. And that's why coral bleaching is such a harmful event.
As we can see, coral bleaching is a real problem and it's affecting many reefs all around the world. Now, these reefs not only support marine life, they also support coastal areas, such as Miami. Now, all of these reefs are dying. All around the world, they're dying to disease, to climate change, and even to humans. Which is why I propose a solution for this problem. The solution is marine protected areas. They are like national parks, but on the water, where we will limit the events and activities that would happen in those areas, especially in the areas around coral reefs, so that people cannot mine or do any other harmful activities that could harm the coral reefs. As I mentioned before, marine protected areas limit harmful activities like mining and fishing. By banning these activities, the fish in the area can thrive and improve the biodiversity of the zone. This is beneficial to the corals because, according to Zara Given's article, scientists are trying to save coral reefs. Here's what's working. She mentions that the fish would eat the algae on top of the corals, some of the algae on top of the corals, and then that would allow the corals to breathe better and receive more sunlight. While the corals do need the algae to survive and protect them, having too much algae on top of them can actually be harmful. Additionally, a new study by the Australian National University revealed that mining activities can be extremely harmful to these organisms because they generate dust under the ocean, and that dust generates a cloud which blocks the sunlight, and then that ends up killing the corals and other organisms that depend on the sunlight to survive. Marine protected areas also benefit human beings. Not only do they preserve the coral reefs that coastal communities like mine depend on, they also help us through something called spillover. Now, spillover is when a fish from inside the marine protected area, or well, not only one, but many, when the fish from the inside the marine protected area end up spreading around it. So they end up leaving the area. Not all of them, just they end up reproducing and spreading all around the areas around it. And that can actually be helpful to the fisheries. And according to Sarah Given's article, scientists are trying to save coral reefs. Here's what's working. She mentions that the spillover gives the fisheries around the area fish to catch. And that actually makes them more sustainable in the long run. Marine protected areas can help the corals against the climate change. While they cannot fix climate change, nor can they make the corals invincible to the changes in the temperature or acid in the water, they can make the corals more resilient and give them resistance against some of the changes in temperature. Whether it's small or big, we don't know, but a healthy coral will be more likely to survive than a coral that is bleached. That is for sure. And this resistance will give us time, and the scientists especially, will give them time to find new ways for them to not only end or fix climate change, but also to find a way to make them more resistant to these changes that are actually happening right now in the world. Coral reefs are in a dire situation. All around the world, many are dying or being bleached by the changes in climate. My solution: marine protected areas can keep these corals healthy and brimming with life, and give them a better chance of surviving the changes in climate, while the scientists look for ways to end climate change and save the corals from extinction. These reefs are extremely important to many, and they serve a great purpose on our planet. So losing them would be devastating, not only to millions of organisms, but also to us humans, especially me and my community that live near the coast and depend on them for many benefits that they provide us. So I urge you, and perhaps your friends too, to write to your elected officials and ask them to create marine protected areas for these corals that live around us, and all the corals around the world too, because they need our help before they end up being wiped out.